now about 11 days left remaining to file your taxes. April 15th is the deadline. So new at 7, we're learning whether it's better to file your taxes together or separate if you're married. There are a lot of factors to consider before you make that decision. So joining me right now to tell us the pros and the cons for both is TurboTax Independent Verified Pro, Dyron Bush. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so I was asking, I'm like, wait, TurboTax, like, what does this mean? You are independent. People can come to you. Tell us about what you do.
Yes, basically, I'm an expert. I've been doing taxes since high school. My firm started in 2008, and Intuit actually recruited me. They came to me. This is the first year they're doing this program, where it's a joint venture between Intuit and my firm, and other firms is also involved.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of customers have requested. They want specialized help with their taxes because some situations are a little bit more complicated than a regular situation that a person would have to deal with.
Yeah, and some people just like to be able to see you and talk to you,
That's right.
not the chat on the computer,
That's
right?
That's right.
Okay, so let's get right into it then. What are the advantages for filing jointly? You have to be married filing jointly is what we're talking about, right?
That is true. Well, one of the advantages is that it lowers your tax rate. Since the Trump administration, they doubled the standard deduction from 27. They doubled the standard deduction and raised it to $27,700. And with married filing separate, it's $13,850.
Okay. So you get a bigger deduction if you file jointly.
That is correct. That is correct.
Without having to do anything, without having to itemize or go through anything, that's just standard.
Yes.
So then why would somebody file separately if you get a bigger deduction jointly?
If you get a bit of, why would somebody file separate? In some cases, when you would file separate, if one person's income was larger than the other one.
Oh, okay.
You know, so in that case, well, put it this way: if you had two doctors, right, in the family, or husband or wife, and one doctor made $200,000, the other one made $200,000 as well. So together they might throw them into another tax bracket, right?
Right. Okay.
So if they file separate, then they'll have a lower tax burden in that particular case.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's very good. Are there deductions, or are there more deductions or credits if you're filing separately or together, or is there?
It's always more advantageous. If you talk to any tax expert, it's more advantageous to file married filing jointly opposed to married filing separate.
Okay.
There's a lot of credits that you lose out on if you don't file jointly. You lose out on the child and dependent care tax credit.
Oh.
You'll lose out on the earned income credit. You lose out on the what they call the AOTC, which is the American Opportunity Tax Credit.
Okay.
And also you lose out on the lifetime tax credit as well.
That's really interesting. So if you're married filing separately, you can't take that, like one parent can't say, I'm going to take the child tax credit?
Well, if you're filing separate and if you're legally separated, right? And
Not legally separated, like if you're married but you're filing jointly.
Not
jointly, separate. Come on, you know what I mean? They're married, but they want to file separately.
Yes.
I mean, they can, like, one or the other could still take that.
No, they can't. You can't do that. In some cases, if you're separated and you live separate for about 6 months, then one could claim head of household if you're separate in that particular case, or if you're legally separated.
Okay.
You know, but other than that, you really can't. You lose out on a lot of credits. You lose the elderly and disabled credit. You're excluded from the savings bond credit, and also the adoption expenses as well.
All right, so big proponent here for if you are married, you have a partner, you want to file jointly.
That is correct.
The best bet. That is good news to know. I mean, I know we're getting down to what I would say is the 11th hour. I mean, you have very few days left to do it.
Yes.
I mean, any other advice for people, or where they can, I guess, common penalties that people get hit with? The people who are waiting like this to these final days?
Well, if you find yourself coming up against the deadline, then you might want to file extension, right? Go ahead and file extension, and extensions are very easy to file. I personally, my firm uses Pro Series. You can use it that way, or with Intuit. With the joint venture with Intuit, it's a very easy process. You can look it up and just say, hey, look, how do I file extension? And they'll go ahead and do that for you.
Okay. Dyron Bush, thank you so much for coming on. We're in this interview on Click to Houston. We'll link to you so people can find you if they have more questions, need more answers. Thank you so much. That was very helpful.
Okay.